just really quickly talk about this. Hold on, guys. Let me get these other people in here. Um, all right. So again, please make sure that you get all of your assignments in. That's one thing we just discussed. And like I was saying, I know that many of you are going to have to meet with your career advisors during class time. Totally fine. It's one of the reasons why we record these videos so that even if you have to step away or come late or you don't make it, you can always go watch the video. Just another reminder, many of us know this by now, but please turn in your participation question. Please turn in your participation question. I am really confused, and I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm a little confused. Some people come to the live session and then they don't do the participation question. And I don't understand it. Like, why why do you come to here and then you don't finish the participation question? You're losing 100 points plus attendance. It's very important that you do the participation question right after class. Before you log off, do your participation question so that you can get your attendance. Um, do we all understand that, right? Make sure this guy's in. My friends, please, please. Hopefully by week 3 we understand how that works. But I'm still seeing some people in class, and we love to have you. But then you don't do your participation questions. I just wanted to make sure I say it so it gets recorded that we all understand. You must do your participation question in order to receive attendance. All right? Thank you. Now, one other thing. Next week is a short week. Next week, the class ends on Thursday. I will have to say this many, many times because I want to make sure we all understand. I've taught this class for many years, and every single class, someone says, I did not know the class ended on Thursday. I know. The class ends on Thursday at 10 p.m. The class ends on Thursday at 10 p.m. In order to support you, we open week 4 on this Friday. Week 4 opens on this Friday. That means that even the final opens this Friday. Miss Taylor, does that mean I can do my final early? You absolutely can. You can do your final as early as this Friday. You can do all of your assignments for next week as early as this Friday. The only thing that you have to obviously do daily is your daily participation question. All assignments, and I'm going to mention this again on Monday, next Monday, all assignments can only be turned in late for weeks 3 and 4 by next Wednesday. Now, remember, I said for weeks 3 and 4. So right now we're in week 3. That means I'm giving you a grace period for week 2 and possibly 1 or 2 assignments for week 1 because the ones that have 2-part series, right? I'm trying to be lenient with that. But in week 4, I only give a grace period for week 3 and week 4's work. And all that work must be in by Wednesday. I know that may be confusing, so I know I will have to repeat that. But what is the main point? Turn in everything on time so we don't have to worry about those deadlines, right? So when can you do your final? Somebody tell me. When can you do your final?
Friday.
Thank you so much. As early as this Friday, you can do your final. All right. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and start chapter 11. Does anyone have any questions before we get started? You are at what we call the midpoint. You're at the midpoint. That means that your campuses will probably be checking in on your grades. Some of your campuses have given you instructions. Remember, everybody's from all over the state of Florida, so everybody has different campus rules. Some of your campuses have said you have to be on ground, and if you maintain a C or better, then you can go and take the rest of the class at home. Some of your campuses have said you can start the course at home, and as long as you maintain a C or better, you can continue to stay home. Please make sure you check with your campuses to know what your campus rules are, and make sure you check your grades, which is another reason why I want you guys to turn your grades in, do your work so you can get your grades as soon as possible. So in the event that your campus has a question about your grades, you'll know why. I don't want anybody to have to, change their schedule, because of the class. All right. All of your grades have been done. You may have, if you've done your final or anything after 8 or 9 last night, then just give me some time to grade those. But most of us should have all of our grades. Many of us turned in resumes that were not signed. I sent you a note that you need to have your resumes signed. What's the whole point of having the resume signed? Does anybody remember why your resume has to be signed? Does anyone remember?
So that it can be looked over by your counselor, dude.
That's or young lady. Absolutely, right? Remember, career services is the one that is supporting you in getting a job. They need to see your resume. You doing a resume or you having a resume for this class is not what we are looking to determine. Our goal is to support career services and allow them to look at your resume, review it, and sign off on it, stating that they've seen your resume. We don't even grade, and I say we because there's several of us that teach this course. We don't even grade the resume. We allow whatever resume your career services has signed off on to stand. All of you are in different programs. The VA program may want a resume to look one way, the electrical may have another one. That is between you and career services. That is why we just need to see a signed copy saying that your career services has personnel has seen your resume. If you sent me a resume and it was not signed, you did not receive a grade for it. I sent you a note to please have your resume signed. It's very simple. All you have to do is send your resume to career services at this point. You were supposed to go make an appointment and have them look at your resume. Most career services, all they would have asked you to do is to email them your resume and they would have sent you back a signed copy. It like takes 5 minutes to do that. So please, my friends, do not lose 100 points because you just didn't send an email to career services. Do we all understand in order to get credit for those resumes, they must be signed? Yes, they must be signed. So please get your resume signed. All right, enough about that. Thank you guys so much. Listen, It hurts me more than it hurts you. I want everyone to pass this class and graduate. It hurts me more than it hurts you. So trust me, because I hate to have to send things back. So trust me, I'm not doing it because I love giving you extra work. I don't. So please let's try to get that done. All right. So in chapter 11, it piggybacks off of chapter 10. If you remember from chapter 10 is all about interviewing, right? Many of you are in the interview stage now. Some of you have even had the real deal. What chapter 11 talks about is just a few extra steps, a few extra things, and we won't spend more than a few minutes on this. Chapter 11 is really short that you want to consider when you are interviewing. One thing is first impression. We all know about first impression. We're just going to talk about this one element called subjective elements. And then we're going to talk about, your second interview and then some post interview techniques. So, when people meet you for the first time, there are certain psychological things that are happening. Um, the book refers to them as subjective elements, which are basically factors that may contain a bias when someone is interviewing you. Can anyone think of any type of bias that an interviewer may have towards you when meeting you? What type of bias do you think? What are some things that they could be biased on? Who can think of one or two things that that interviewer may look at you and have a bias towards? This interviewer is looking
Yeah.
at you. Would you
Like
say, Anthony?
appearance,
Yeah, what exactly? Well, give me one thing about your appearance that they may judge.
the
Hair,
clothes you wear.
The clothes you wear. What else you were saying, Taylor?
hair,
Your what?
like your hairstyle, your hairstyle.
Your hairstyle. Yep. And I'm a person that has locks, so I understand that. What else? Sometimes even the way you smell, right? Go ahead, Kim.
I was
Well,
gonna say hygiene.
you're gonna say that too.
Yeah, hygiene.
Your hygiene, and sometimes even if you smell good, sometimes smelling too good, like people could be allergic to what you got on. You may think is wonderful. I'm sure we've all smelt those church ladies like 3 minutes after they've passed. Go ahead, Kimwell.
Tattoos.
Tattoos, right? Yeah. Someone else texts me the way you're behaving, the way you're acting. Absolutely. And these are all biases because, in essence, does it have anything to do with whether you can do the job or not? No.
No.
No, right? You've come there to prove yourself, what you're wearing, how you smell. uh, yeah, I saw you, Rosie. That's what I said. The way you acting. I got your text. Um, None of those things, determines whether you're a good candidate or not. But unfortunately, it is a person that is interviewing you, and those triggers is what I like to call them, could cause them to assess the interview in a certain way. Now, I am going listen, I don't know if I told you guys about the English professor that we were interviewing. I still feel sorry for this guy. He got lost. He came. It's summer. It's hot. It's Florida, and he had armpit sweat. Y'all know what that is, right? He was a very hairy person, and it was bad. And I don't know. Armpit sweat has nothing to do with being a good professor. We can all agree. But I'm sorry. I mean, it was just a bad look. I've had people that wore too much cologne, and one of the people, the interviewers, they were sneezing. They were sneezing. So now you're going to be the guy that wears too much cologne. Nobody's going to remember you. You're going to be the too smell good guy. I've had people that wore too many bangles on their arms, and they spoke with their hands. So the whole time they were speaking, I was just watching their hands and clank a clank clank and then clank a clank clank. Every time the bangles went off, I'm just it's distracting. It is very distracting. In chapter 11, it talks about how you should dress and how you should appear and how to eliminate these biases. Someone else said tattoos. Many of us have tattoos, right? Many of us may even have piercings. Some of you may have really great tattoos, but you don't want to waste 5, 10 minutes with the person that just may happen to be interested in your tattoo talking about your tattoo because the guy that's coming behind you may not have tattoos. Now he gets 10 extra minutes to show why he's a better fit than you. You may think, and I know we're always thinking that we are building camaraderie with these strangers, but again, this person has to go back to their boss and they have to go, and you don't know if he's their only boss, maybe, okay, but you don't know who they have to go back to. You don't know who sat in that chair before you, and you don't know who's going to sit after you. You do not need any type of bias. You don't want to get nicknamed the tattoo guy, right? So what does that mean? Just, try to eliminate that. Wear a long sleeve shirt if you can. I know it's summertime, but try to eliminate anything that is going to make that person not pay attention to your face. And chapter 11, it discussed even the type of clothes and colors you should wear. I know many of us may say, man, why do I have to wear a brown or a blue? I'm not going to a bank. But guess what? Browns and blues and blacks and whites, they're unassuming. I don't need you checking out my outfit. I need you looking into my face so you can pay attention to the words coming out of my mouth. Help the interviewer help you. They are human. Do not give them anything to focus on besides your face. They're not doing it subconsciously, right? But do you really want to be the brunt of the joke of an interview that you've had because maybe you wore your mom's favorite sweater and they thought it was funny or whatever? Like, you don't want any of that foolishness, right? So you want to mitigate those biases by keeping your hair simple, keeping your attire simple. You're not there to impress. Yeah, please, obviously, shower, but you don't have to put on your best cologne. You don't know if the person has allergies. Like, eliminate the bias. The only thing you want them to remember are the words coming out of your mouth. Does that make sense? You have 1 hour to prove yourself. You don't have time for the jokes. You don't have time for anything else. Once you get a job, you can joke, you can play, you can do all of that. Go ahead, Tyler.
So what about stereotypes? Because sometimes when people see you, like they'll stereotype you, even though you're not that, even though you don't have that personality or not that type of person.
So give me an example of what you mean stereotype.
Like, like if
No, I know it.
if
I know
you
it's
like if you have
stereotype.
if you have like a rougher look to you, but you're
Uh-huh.
not really a rough person at the same time. Like you're actually
Yeah.
nice.
But that is why your personality, right? That's what your personality is all about. That's why your words matter. Listen, I love a challenge. I love a challenge. Matter of fact, I love when people may see me. I mean, most people say I come across the same way. They say, okay, she looks studious. I'll put it nicely for myself. She looks studious. But other than that, they don't know. We people have all kinds of stereotypes. We know what they are. But I love to watch their face change. It brings me so much joy. It's like you could see it washing. It washes over them, right? Like, oh, she's smart. Oh, she's thoughtful. Oh, I love to watch it. It's embarrassing to them. It's not embarrassing to me. I know me. You don't know me, right? You're gonna learn me. You'll know me by the time this interview is over. So it doesn't bother me at all. I love to knock out stereotypes. Because hey, listen, it's not taking any money out of my pocket. How you feel about me? So don't look at it like a challenge, right? Oh, poor you. You think you know me. You think I don't have what it takes. By the time I'm done with you, you'll understand better. So I don't ever look at those things in a negative way. You know what you bring to the table. You should be ready to bring it. Be ready to show someone who you are. Do not give people any opportunity to form any biases against you. It's not your fault. And in some instances, it's not even their fault, right? It's not your fault how people feel about you. That's their problem. That's yours. You can't go around trying to change the world and their perception on life. That comes from their own reflections and their own experiences. The only thing that you can change really is what they thought, and that is going to come from the words coming out of your mouth, right? And the only thing that you're there to do is to prove that you can do the job. That's all you're there to prove. Now, if they still decide not to give it to you, it wasn't yours to begin with, right? So I don't dwell on stuff like that, because one no, there's two more yeses. As a matter of fact, that's always worked in my shoes. For every no I get three yeses. And hey, I'm happy to have three more choices. It doesn't bother me at all. So eliminate the bias. Don't give people a reason to that you another thing that you may have to overcome. You want to overcome already being in competition. I call it a competition with the other people. Don't give people extra stuff to judge you on. That's why we tell you, when you have these in-person interviews, show up on time, my friends. First impression, if you're late, I do not care what you say. It is always going to be, why is this person late? Right? Unless there is a major tornado that just hit touchdown ground and knocked out all the power lines, or there's a major accident on the road, don't be late. Do not be late. It's hard to get past that, right? You want to be on time. If it's a virtual interview, we've talked about that. Now, one thing I will say, in addition to what we discussed last week, there are a lot of virtual tips online. I won't say that you guys need to concern yourselves with it today, but if you are going to have a virtual interview, you will know beforehand. Do your research. Do your research. Go to the internet and look up virtual interviews and techniques for virtual interviews. I gave you one last week. I said that if you know that you have a let's say a stoic disposition about yourself, maybe you tend to have a muted look. People have told you this. You're not surprised about who you are. If you are virtual, you are going to have to be a little bit more animated, because when you're virtual, it falls flat. You guys have all been on virtual meetings, and you see how everybody just kind of looks like a deadpan. Even somebody smiling, you don't even know if they're really smiling unless they're really smiling. So the person may not even have an issue, but they fall flat virtually. So if you have to meet virtually, just make sure that you're a little bit more expressive, nod your head more, show your teeth a little bit better. I mean, more, lean in a little more, just show your interest, right? You may have to be a little bit more communicative by saying, yes, I understand. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's a good point. Just, talking back to the interviewer to let them know that you are listening. Now, this is a big one. I know many of us don't like panel interviews. I know it. But what I hate worse than a panel interview is a second interview. But sometimes you have to do it. Treat that interview like it's your first interview. Treat that interview as if it is your first interview. You may have done great with the first interviewer. You've never met the second interviewer. They don't know you. They are meeting you for the first time. Do not hang your hat on the fact that you did so great with that first interviewer, because their personality is different. What they're looking for may be different. So you need to treat the second interview as if it is your first interview. And I'll say something else. Most times the second interview is with the big boss, right? The little boss, the supervisor, may love you, but now you got to get past the big boss. And sometimes the big boss just wants to check you out, which is fine. but you treat it as if it's the first interview. Don't get comfortable, don't get lax, don't pretend like you have the job. And so, now you want to, I don't know, I've seen people, get a little too comfortable in the second interview and start to ask a bunch of questions like, now that you want me, let me drill you. And I'm like, no, no, you don't have the, no, you don't have the job yet. What are you doing? Right? Don't do that. I had a friend of mine, we were working at a school together, and he was going to be the campus director. He was at the school. He interviewed 11 times. He had to interview with staff, students, faculty, the board, and he did not get the job. Can you imagine? Everybody loved him, or so he thought. And he was an internal candidate, and he did not get the job. Do not ever get comfortable until you receive a letter in the mail or in the email saying, we would like to offer you this job. You do not have that job, right? That is why we tell you post interview, what do you do? Another reason why we tell you don't ask about money. You need to go back and be reflective on what you've learned in that interview. Did they say you have to work weekends? Are they requiring overtime or not overtime? What is the training going to look like? Are you going to be thrown into a project that's already behind 3 months? You need to take all of that into consideration so that when they send you that offer letter with that dollar amount, you can then decide whether you want to accept it, if you want to negotiate, or what you want to do. And then if you decide that you do want to negotiate, then you can use some of the what you've learned in the meeting, and we'll discuss that in a second. But while you're evaluating that job offer, make sure you send a thank you email within 24 hours. This is one of the reasons why I told you to get the person's first and last name that you are interviewing with. Sometimes when the HR person sends you the interview information, they may not give you the person's full first and last name. Sometimes the person is not copied on the email. Sometimes they are, so make sure you pay attention to that. Ask for a card before you leave the interview. You are going to send them a thank you email. They could have had to interview 15 people. You want to thank them for their time. And in that thank you, you are going to say one thing about that interview that you remember. Try to think of something that they were really excited about and mention that. People love when you parrot, we call it parroting, back to them. Then they feel like you've really listened, right? So say one thing. That email can be really short. We'll talk about it this week. Just thanking them for their time and letting them know that you are look forward to hearing from them. Obviously, you are going to manage your emotions, especially if they've told you that, hey, we just got started with the interview process. It's going to be another month. My goodness, a whole another month. That means you have to continue to interview and continue to look for jobs for a whole another month because you don't know if you're the chosen one, right? That's why you are going to continue your job search. This is not your job until you sign on the dotted line, but make sure you send that email. So, in the employment process, what happens? If they send you a job offer, you need to evaluate the job offer. And Ms. Taylor telling you don't take a job that career services has hooked you up with. And I am not saying that. Don't get me in trouble because you declined the job. I am telling you academically how it is done. Typically, when you get a job offer, let's say that on the in the indeed.com it said that the job pays between 19 and 30 and they offer you 22, you feel like they should have offered you 25 because they said that you have to work on two projects instead of one. Well, this is the time you write back to HR and say, "Oh, thank you for your time. I'm so excited about, working at ABC company. You know, based off of the information that was explained to me in the job interview, I'll be working on two projects instead of the one that was, mentioned in the description. And I was hoping to receive $25 an hour." Send it back and see what they have to say. They can only say yes or no. If they want you, then the HR person is going to go back to the manager. They're going to talk about it, and then the manager may say, "Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Tommy left and he has to pick up Tommy's work." Okay, we'll say 25. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? So don't be afraid of the negotiation process. I get it. In your first job, you may not feel that you have those abilities, but I'm just telling you what is expected. People do expect you to negotiate it unless they tell you what, hey, this job pays $20 an hour and that's what we start everybody off at. And at least you still can go back home and then evaluate, okay, do I want to do this job for $20 an hour or not? All right. Obviously, you need to sign off on the job if you are going to accept it. All right. Now, my friends, uh, let me say this once again for the people in the back that arrived. Do not log off before you do your participation question. Do not log off before you do your participation question. Some of us are thinking like, who in the world is she talking to? You know who you are. Why must I give you a 0 and you physically came to the live session because you did not do your participation question? Tyler, I do not understand it. I don't. It's like going to work and not getting a check. Why would you do that to yourself? Who goes to work for free? You're not coming here to say hi to all the initials on the video. Do your participation question. It's very simple. Look at it. Here's what we're talking about. I want you to show me. That means you can do a video. I like some of the videos that you guys have done. Or describe, if you want to just do text, what you would personally wear to an interview. Do not say clothes, because we all know that. Tell me what you would wear to an interview. Some of you may say, oh, well, we're wearing scrubs because it's a working interview. Some of you may say, oh, we're welders. We wear, steel-toe boots, and we've been told to dress down and pants. We don't mind getting dirty. Do you know what you're supposed to wear at your interview? Let me know. You can put it on, take a picture, put it on your bed, take a picture, or you can just write it out. What would you wear? This is an easy assignment. I want 100%. If you are on this call, you need to do your participation question. Yes? Okay. I know. I don't know how else to do it. All right, my friends. If you do not have any questions for me, you are free to go. Evan, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Don't be mad at me, Evan. It's
No,
all
you're
my
fine.
fault.
It's
No,
all
let me tell you. I was so upset with her. I was like, why is this lady not sending me back the report? She had embedded it in the email, so it wasn't even her fault. Which I hate the new Microsoft email system because it's all those emails attached to each other. And so she responded within a response. So I didn't see it. And I'm like, where's the report? Evan's going to kill me.
Yeah,
So
I was just worried because I just saw how my grade was affected. I was
well,
like,
no,
whoa, that's
that
like 15% off of my grade.
listen, Evan, listen, I'm not afraid to say this, but you're a rock star. So I was even because I had to go through and, do all the grades, and it was my fault because I put that there. But it was because she had embedded the grade and I didn't see it. So I apologize.
Thank you so much for taking care of that. I appreciate it.
No problem, sir. All right. My friends, please remember the final opens this Friday, all of week 4. For those of you that weren't here when I made the announcement, all of week 4 opens this Friday. You can do every assignment starting this Friday, with the exception of your participation assignments, which must be done daily. If you owe me something from week 2, don't make me beg. Please give me what I deserve. Give me my work. You cannot turn it in week 4. Go ahead on to Haven. You have a question? All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. If anybody has any questions for me, please feel free to stand back and ask.